and all this while maintaining churn at a very low point of 0.7%. The subscriber acquisition cost, which is primarily driven by the box cost, has come down to 1650. If you remember, earlier quarters it used to trend 2300, 2200, came down to 2000. Last quarter it was 1800 and now it's about 1650. So sequentially there is improvement, and ARPU has gone up to 172 from 170 last quarter. So I think there are various highlights as far as the overall results are concerned.
Mr. Kapoor, it's true that of course you've had a significant improvement. I'm just saying that the markets, based on the numbers they were seeing being put out and the kind of connections that Dish TV was adding, the number of additions that one could get anecdotally from the channels that one picks up, the markets expected about 700 odd crores on top line. They expected an EBITDA of close to 165 odd crore. That has not come through. So that's the question that I'm trying to ask you, that what caused this slight lower level of revenue than what the markets expected? Because I understand that you're saying a 12.2%.
Okay, so the slight lower level of EBITDA can be attributed to higher cost of sales and distribution in the Q2 this year. So coming back to my point that sequentially we've gone up by 90% as compared to last year in the first 6 months of our fiscal on subscriber acquisition. We want to keep that momentum on, and for that Q2 is the time when you have to load up the inventory and a lot of boxes into the trade, and for that you have to do a lot of trade activities, marketing activities on the ground, and sales incentives and distribution incentives are to be given away to the trade partners. So that spike in the sales and distribution cost of Q2 has probably affected the EBITDA a little bit, but that is a temporary phenomena, and also it will result into better revenues and more subscriber acquisition coming in Q3 and Q4. So I think that should be taken as investment, A. And secondly, as I said, it's a temporary phenomena. It won't be that high. It will taper down in Q3, Q4.
So you've added about around 3.8 lakh odd subscribers in this quarter, and you're saying that that's about the 7-year high? That's the highest you've had in the last 7 years in terms of subscriber addition?
It's definitely a good number, and yeah, so what I was trying to say is that sequentially, if you look at, the numbers are going up as compared to last 4-5 quarters. Last year the numbers were not that high, but this year numbers in the first 2 quarters are up by 90%. So, and we are very hopeful that we'll keep our guidance to the market
driven largely by
this year at around
rules,
1.5 million
digitization rules, which is obviously going to help you as you move forward. But my question to you is that if I look at the net...
No, there's a difference there. The digitization... So just 1 minute.
Yeah.
The digitization happened last year as well. However, the overall momentum...
Okay, there's a bit of a problem in that line. Let's get Mr. Kapoor back. Do we have Mr. Kapoor? All right, I'm being told we have Mr. Kapoor. Mr. Kapoor, could you just repeat that again? You said that digitization was there last year as well, but this year the momentum has picked up.
Yeah, last year also, but we didn't see great momentum last year because digitization was not happening in the way it happened. So digitization, I think, in this country will not happen in spurts. It will happen, and that's what we have seen. This year we are seeing more acquisitions from the DAS 3 and DAS 4 areas because we are ready with our plan, and as shared with all of you earlier, we launched another brand, Zing, which is conceptualized, tailored, and the entire packaging is towards that customer which wants the entertainment in his or her own language, which is into the interiors and especially the DAS 3, DAS 4 markets. So we have a strategy for DAS 3, DAS 4 market, and that is why we are getting a lot of good spikes in the acquisition numbers this year.
All right, Mr. Kapoor, let me take 2 numbers. One is, of course, the net subscriber addition, which came to about 3.8 lakh odd crores. But if I look at net active subscribers, then it's up 3%. That means that you've actually seen a significant amount of subscribers get off the network as well. So you've added subscribers, but you've lost a certain amount as well.
Now the churn is maintained at 0.7%. What you will see is a definite number of spikes coming up in that part of the metrics also in the subsequent quarters.
How much of your distribution network is catering to HD at the moment?
Most of the partners, I would say about 30 to 35%, or in large cities, higher than 50 to 60%, higher than the smaller towns. So 50 to 60% of our partners are catering to the HD customers as far as the acquisition is concerned. We have one of the best offerings in high definition. We have about 36 channels, which are almost 10 channels ahead of or more than what the nearest competitor offers. And that is why after we have added more channels, especially the sports channels in our high definition packaging, we are seeing a lot of positive traction and growth in the high definition numbers.
Is there any coupling that you're going to do with television manufacturers, where I go and buy a television set and I automatically get a Dish TV connection?
Technology is a constant, is constantly on the move, and definitely things are being conceptualized on those lines as well.
What is the future, sir? Because, in this, as you pointed out, the technology is moving very, very quickly. In a lot of places now, first let's look at the US. Netflix bypasses this entire distribution system altogether. It's broadband driven. Airtel has a broadband space. How much of how do you see yourself faring against that? Or let's say Reliance Jio once that comes in.
So the broadband availability broadband availability right now in this country is not developed market, so that's why Netflix has grown faster there. We have our own strategy. We have different segments here. So there's a segment in the interiors and small towns who wants the entertainment in their own language. So we have a strategy which is the Zing brand for them. We know there is a subscriber who is now graduating on to a standard definition, to a high definition as far as the screen is concerned, LEDs, and wants the entertainment, especially around sports. So we have a strategy on high definition, and that's why we have the largest content there. For those consumers who want their entertainment on the go, that is anytime, anywhere TV, and what you are talking about, Netflix or something which is available on, which is a result actually of device proliferation and a multi-device kind of a strategy is required there. For them, we have our Dish Online, which is entertainment on the go. So we are looking at every segment. In this country, the demographics, overall picture of the demographics shows that there are various segments, and they're large enough. So you can't have a strategy only for one segment. You have to address all the segments, and that's why Zing, that's why high definition, and that's why Dish Online.
All right, one final question, Mr. Kapoor, and then we'll let you go. I know you're a very busy man. 172, that's the ARPU this quarter. Where do you expect to end in this fiscal?
Would like to give that number right now, but I can just tell you that 172 up from 170 last quarter is basically because we had increased the prices. Now, only the 25% of the subscribers saw that price increase, because we can't immediately increase the price of all the subscribers. It increases as soon as they come up for recharge. The net effect of that price increase is going to be visible more in Q3 and then subsequently also in Q4. That's all I can say.
So 75% of existing customers are actually going to see the price increase and pay you out in the next 2 quarters. Is that correct?
Especially in Q3.
All right, in Q3. All right. Thanks so much. That's the maximum guidance you can give us, and thanks a lot. That's